guys, today we are taking a look at the DC Multiverse Batwing from Batman Incorporated. Let's get a better look at that packaging, shall we? So up and close with the packaging here, we of course have Batwing in all of his glory and the contents of the packaging. Then we of course have the McFarlane DC Multiverse logo right there, Batwing nameplate right there. On the side we of course have the Batwing nameplate, DC Multiverse logo up there. Then, of course, an ad and a QR code for you to scan to read a comic on the DC Universe Infinite app. And then, of course, we have the New 52-ish Batman Incorporated Batwing right there. I could not name the artist. It's not art I've ever seen that I'm familiar with. Of course, I have McFarlane Toys up there, Batwing from Batman Inc., and then, of course, another ad for DC Universe Infinite. And, of course, McFarlane Toys. Follow them on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On the side, we have Batwing from Batman Inc. right there, Batman Incorporated. On the top, we have DC Multiverse, my bad. And then we also have the little sticker here, because I got it from my local comic book shop. We have McFarlane Toys branding right there. Up on top, it's just window box packaging with, of course, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys right there. And, of course, on the bottom, we have the Batman legalese right there. And then here is the barcode for all you barcode hunters out there. But, alright, guys, let's, get this dude out of the packaging. Alright, guys, so here is Batwing, not the plane, out of the packaging. And before we take a look at the figure, we're, of course, going to take a look at the other contents. So, first up, we, of course, have to take a look at the stand, which, of course, has DC logo right there, peg hole right there, peg right there, one peg, and, of course, the four little circles. We're back to four, guys. Back to four. And then we, of course, have the card with the weird art right there. I like the purple bat signal, though. I think it's pretty dope, but it has Batwing from Batman Incorporated. And on the back, we have... Oh, this is, okay. So, yes. So, in Batman Incorporated, this is not the Luke Fox version of Batwing that a lot of people know about. This is, in fact, the African Batman of the Congo, who, through the course of Batman Incorporated, where Bruce gets zapped back in time in Final Crisis, when he comes back, he dons a very Michael Keaton-esque suit. It's the closest thing we ever got to a Michael Keaton suit in the comics, without just doing the straight-up Keaton suit that they did in a little bit in the 90s. He dons a suit like that, goes around the world and says, I'm going to create literally a Batman army around the world. And I believe his second stop after going to Japan to recruit Mr. Unknown, he goes to the Congo, where he meets Batwing here, who he's literally a Batman of Africa. So it's a little bit different than a lot of what's the Luke Fox origin, and this card very much explains that, as you've probably taken the liberty of reading that as I've been explaining. But yeah, I know nothing about this character at all. I just know relatively that Batman recruited him to be in Batman Incorporated, and I don't know if he's in continuity or not because of Luke Fox anymore, but it's cool that they made him David instead of just going the Luke Fox route, as I thought they actually did. So that's interesting. But in terms of the actual figure, he comes with a few accessories. And let me just get the figure off the base here. So he comes with two of these little fire jet boosters, which do peg into the peg hole at the bottom of the figure. So you get something looking a lot like that, which looks very cool. And he comes with one for the other hand, but the other foot, I mean. But I've never owned the single release Batman Beyond, but is this the same booster piece from that Batman Beyond pack? I'm thinking it is, just from the pictures I've seen, but I want to be clear about that. So somebody let me know in the comments. I'd really want to know that information. And then he, of course, comes with this blue effect piece that plugs into his back because he has this massive jet turbine on his back. And you quite literally just... Come on. There we go. And rotate it around. You get something like that. So when he's like flying and stuff like that, you get something looking a lot like that. But cool accessories. One thing right off the bat that he should have been included with, since he is an aerial character, flight stand. It seems like Todd literally only wants to give Superman a flight stand, and that is the most annoying piece of BS I've ever seen. Characters like Batwing here, characters like the Green Lanterns and stuff like that, they deserve flight stands too. It seems like only Superman characters are getting flight stands, and that really annoys me. Oh, and Batman Beyond, the single release Batman Beyond got a flight stand too. But he definitely needs to... If he's releasing more flying characters, such as Batwing and Alan Scott and characters like that, he needs to put flight stand with him. I don't care. He should have thought about how much they would have cost before he released the figure. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. You don't release a flying character and not put a flight stand with a character when you already put flight stands with Superman. I'm just saying. That's my end. That's the end of that rant, though. But overall, for the look of the figure, this is not my favorite look for Batwing. I always liked the design that they did for Batman Bad Blood, if you've seen that movie. It's a horrible movie, but Batwing looks dope in it. And this suit is, of course, the... at least for the Luke Fox origin, it's the prototype Batman Beyond armor. So I love that. I love it when the books try to link the current Bat books to Batman Beyond. But in terms of the figure, it's a silver figure. I mean, and it's not even... It's new parts too, because like I was thinking these were Luthor's legs. But after looking at Luthor's legs in the background there, you see these are new sculpts. Like, maybe the... no, these are all new. I'm pretty sure this is an all-new buck. But you, of course, have, like, the domino mask infused into the kind of Iron Man-like cowl thing that he has going on. It's a really weird thing he's got going on here. It's like Nightwing's cowl in Arkham Knight that I'm not a huge fan of either. And he's got a butt chin there. And you of course, have all the rivets and stuff like that. And this guy totally should have been metallic. Like, he should have been metallic or blue metallic. Like, it's shiny, sure, but it's not like metallic. Like, Blue Beetle should have had... Like, the metallic blue that they used on, like, Blue Beetle and the metallic paint that they used on Blue Beetle should have been on this figure as well. Yes, he looks shiny, but it doesn't look nearly as shiny enough, in my opinion. But then we also have, of course, the bat symbol here, which, again, very Batman Beyond-esque. And we'll take a look at that later in the review. We're going to get him next to the finished product, which is the Batman Beyond armor. And overall, yeah, just a silver figure. And of course you get the bat wings, which look very cool. I like seeing the skeleton and the rivets there. It's all very nicely sculpted, at least, not necessarily nicely painted. And mine are warped because of the packaging, so that kind of sucks. So, but how you fix that is easily just lay them on the ground like this, and eventually it'll straighten them out, I think. But let's get into the articulation segment, since very basic figure. We have, of course, a ball hinged head right there. He looks up very far. You get a lot of nice flying poses with Batwing here. And he, of course, can look all the way around, and, of course, can do all the pivot and stuff like that. His shoulders go up that high and can move all the way around, but because of the wing, of course, kind of limits it in a way. He has the butterfly joint inside the shoulder. He has bicep swivel, if you can get to it. He has double jointed elbows, which look horrible, but if you don't move the bottom of the joint, at least top and bottom right here, if you don't move this part of the joint, it looks better. It looks better. But if you want to get, like, let's say you're wanting to have him to, like, elbow somebody or something, you need to, that'll look pretty bad. And then, of course, you have the standard McFarlane ball joints, which move like that. And then you turn the hand, and they move the other way. Love these joints. Can't say enough good things about them. And then he has a very good torso joint here. A lot of good range here. He can move that far back. He can move decently far forward. I'd say that's pretty good for the Multiverse line. And then you, of course, can pivot like so and get all that range in there, moving very nicely. Even though I don't know why Todd wants them to move that far back, but only that far forward, but whatever. He, of course, has nice standard McFarlane legs right there. He has barely thigh pivot on this figure. It's not the greatest. He, of course, has double jointed knees right there, which look better than the arms because, of course, of this shoulder plate. And it feels very flush with the figure. And then we have nice ankle joints right there, which, of course, at the top you can rotate and it's ratcheted. You can hear that ratchet in there. And then at the bottom, you, of course, have ankle pivot, which is also ratcheted. And then, of course, hinged like so. And then toe joints right there. So overall, very nimble for what you're planning on getting him into in terms of a flight pose and stuff like that. And it's also it's kind of a thing right here where it's like the ribbed hinge right there, but that's not a huge issue, but it is noticeable that it just stops right there. Here, of course, here is Batwing next to all of the different Bat armors that, of course, I have in my collection. There is a lot more that I have not picked up, but there is, of course, Kingdom Come Alex Ross right there on the left. And then, of course, we have what Bruce was trying to build with the Batwing armor, but the more streamlined version of it with the Batman Beyond armor. And then we, of course, have the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Superman fighting armor from the end of the novel. And honestly, it seems like these two match a lot, and these two match, but these two do not match, and those two at the end don't match. Very interesting on how they kind of implemented that, because of course these two are very much textured and more realistic than these two, which are way more streamlined, way more Bruce Timified in a way. I know, because Bruce Timm original creation, but I still think that these two could work. It's just the fact that they don't really work that well because, of course, more of a streamlined character here and more of a comic book realistic take right here. And here he is with the core members of the Bat family anyway, meaning Batman and all the Robins I currently have. I do not have a Tim Drake, as I'm waiting for the 90s Robin, Tim Drake, but we of course have, from left to right, we have New 52 Red Hood, the one with the guns. We have Wave 1 Nightwing, my first ever DC Multiverse figure. We of course have Hush Batman, my favorite Batman of all time. And then of course Damian Wayne down at the end. And I think he fits in very well with these figures. Nightwing and Damian less so, because Nightwing and Damian are more stylized, they're skinnier, but with the other three, you can tell there's definitely a more cohesive narrative than, because Nightwing here is a little more lanky than I think he would be if he was meant to be in scale with these characters here. Same with Damian. Damian is way more stylized than any of the others here. But I think that you could have them work together. I think that's definitely a possibility. Here we are with Batwing with more disconnected members of the family. Not disconnected, but extended members of the family. We, of course, have Azrael from the White Knight line, ultra stylized. We, of course, have Batgirl from Three Jokers. We, of course, have Duke. And then we have Tim Fox, Future State Batman right there. And let me just say off the bat, he doesn't really go with anybody, unfortunately, because of how much of a brick he is. This man is huge. That man is huge. He is an awesome figure. This is one of my favorite figures in the entire line just because of how cool he looks. But he does not go with anybody because of how big he is. And then I also don't like how tall Duke is, because if I stand Duke straight up, he is as tall as Batwing, and that terrifies me. Because Duke, from my understanding, is like a teenager. And Batwing is like a 20-something, 20-something, 30, And if a teenager is taller than Batwing, that's kind of sad. And then also, if you want to do it, these two are brothers. So, I mean, you could totally do something like have Batwing be in the air and Tim Fox just doing that. Because I'm never going to change him out of the stance. This is just... this fits Tim Fox's Batman so well. Here, of course, we have Batwing here next to the leader of Batman Incorporated, Ghostmaker. The only two members of Batman Incorporated I currently have, at least to my knowledge. I don't think any of the other Bat family members I have over there are part of Batman Incorporated. But these two look great together. You could do some stuff with them easily. The texturing and everything just works just right for them to be seen together and not have it look too weird. So anyways, guys, that'll do it for this review of the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Batwing. And overall, I thoroughly enjoyed this figure. He's not relatively a necessity. He's not the cream of the crop, but he is definitely a fun figure and very posable. You could do a lot of things with him, especially with, since a version of Batwing and Tim Fox Batman are brothers, you could do stuff like that. You could do some comparisons with Batman Beyond. You could do some stuff with him and Ghostmaker, since they're both in Batman Incorporated. You could do stuff with the whole Bat family, The posing options are literally limitless for this guy, especially when you give him a flight stand like I have him here. You can just do a ton of things, especially with those effect pieces. Really do help a lot with the posing of this guy. But again, cream of the crop, absolutely not. This is, for me, if I had to give it a number rating, I'd give him an 8, just because of the fact that, he's not sparkly metallic. He's not some of the way the joints are labeled out, like the shoulders, are not that great. And but besides that, posability, very good. Play factor, very well done. This is a great pocket fig for you to just mess around with. Except don't use the effect pieces, they'll get lost. And also, just a little warning, those effect pieces on his feet, very pointy. They hurt your hand a lot, so just be aware of that. I even have one. I even have a little bit of scratches just from plucking them in and out, so be aware of that. But besides that, again, if you want a Bat family or something like that, this is a must buy. If you want a cool looking figure, I'd say this covers that. If you want an aerial figure, absolutely. But if you want like a Justice League or something like that, this is a pass. But you already knew that when you were looking at the figure anyway. So with that, guys, let me know what you think about this guy in the comment section below. Really like to discuss with you guys this figure and any of the other figures I have up on the channel. And that's pretty much it. Of course, like and subscribe too. Keep collecting and be peaceful out there to everybody. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.